us. What is Woodball? Why Woodball? Where is Woodball? How can you be part of Woodball? Who is in Woodball? Are ladies allowed to play Woodball? Where are the facilities of Woodball? Where did Woodball originate? Who is the father of Woodball in Kenya? I mean, all these things, of course, they're here. And I'm very honored, of course, to have an entire squad. I will start, of course, with the coach of yes, the national team coach. Hata mimi nashagaga tu. Sasa, personally, I will be very honest. I have not interacted with Woodball. I have seen, read, but sasa I've been challenged that I need to partake of Woodball now that I play golf, and Woodball are cousins to golf. Titus Mboya, karibu sana. TV47 on Sports Extravaganza. Thank you for making time.
Thank you.
Also, tuko na kijana julikana kama Moses Nzioka. Moses Nzioka. Captain wa Mount Kenya University. Mount Kenya, penye mko, you better be watching this show. Otherwise, Nzioki atawafanyisha ma-press ups mingi sana. Kama mtakuwa mnawatch show na muonyeshe mko mnawatch show. Karibu sana, Captain wa MKU team. Thank you so much. Also, we have, forgive us for, we are supposed to start with the ladies, but we'll save last for best. We also have David Ebenezer, who is one of the players of the national team. Karibu sana, David. It's good to have you. Now imagine hii rende yote ya kuanzia from coach after next ati wamevaa shati ya Arsenal. Watu wa Woodball, kwani hakuna timu nyingine mna support? Then we have Dorcas Gaki, who is of course also one of the players in the national team ya Woodball. Watch of course tuanze na wadosi, unajua hapa lazima ufanye protocol. Ukianza na wengine wanaweza kuleta shida. Tuanza na coach Titus, Woodball. Yani tuseme tu kwa ukweli tu. Someone mwenye hajaona Woodball. Talk to my 16-year-old nephew in Manda Shivanga about who has never seen Woodball, has never heard about Woodball. Woodball ni nini?
Woodball, we call it a master of all sports. It has a combination of several sports. Yes. We have golf. So for those who have ever thought of playing golf, yes, and you didn't manage, now you can do it in Woodball. Woodball has also similarities to bowling. The concept of hitting the stuff and then it goes and hits. That's the same thing applies in Woodball. It has also croquet. That's the US design of Woodball inside it, and also baseball. But also there's a time when you play, you also apply the chess mentality of checkmate. So in Woodball, we play a version of golf, but with a wooden ball. Our ball is wooden. No wonder the name called Woodball. And then you can help me with.
No, hata naweza chukua. Lete mimi najua niko kierere. Ukishika hiyo mimi nitashika hii.
Yeah, so what you're holding,
yes,
is Woodball. Yes. So what I'm holding is a mallet. This is an aluminium mallet. We have an aluminium mallet. We also have a rubber mallet. We also have a wooden mallet. But what doesn't change is the ball. Hence the name Woodball.
Okay.
So the difference between golf and Woodball is that our ball that is wooden is bigger. So when you hit it, it doesn't fly like golf.
Yes.
To save on space. So when you're playing, this is a game you can play even on the carpet, just like in studio.
Yes.
We can play at the backyard. But in a serious competition, you need a full field ground like football to play. So we have what we call fairways, just like in golf. So we have shorter fairways, that is 30 meters long. That's the shortest. And we have also the medium between 31 and 50, but the longest one is 130. So the winner has to score with the least strokes. What is a stroke? A stroke is any time you hit the ball with a mallet. So if you have 10, I have 5, I have 1 on that fairway. But on a simple competition where you have 12 fairways or multiples of 12. So accumulatively, when you're playing, every time you hit, a stroke is given and recorded. So the one who has in the 12 fairways or 24 or 36, depending on the level of competition, or even in beach woodball where we have 6 fairways instead of 12, on stroke competition, the winner has the least strokes accumulatively. That is what we call strokes competition. But we also have another form of competition called fairway. Fairway, we call it mauano, kuwana. Like if you're on that fairway, you've scored with 1 and I'm playing my second, that fairway is done. So
same as golf.
Yeah,
almost,
just it's purely golf.
Yes.
So maximum strokes in accumulatively in the strokes, that is strokes competition. But if you're playing 12 fairways and I win the majority, let's say I have 1 up to 7, there is no need of going on. The competition is done. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, of course, I hope no trees were harmed or injured with the whatever equipment you have here. That's on a light note, but on a serious note as well.
I know.
But I know your equipment are, later on, of course, you'll also share with us where you find your equipment, the availability of this equipment in schools. You'll share with us that a little bit later. Wacha ni bring in Captain wa MKU, Nzioka. The MKU, of course, tell us, first give us a short history, of course, of how you came to know Woodball. And how you rose through the ranks to become actually the captain, because hakuna mtu yote anakuanga tu captain tu like that. Lazima of course na history, umefanya nini. So tuambie just in summary, of course, about to the point of where you are, and then share with us. MKU, of course, is also close to our hearts here at TV47. Share with us, where do you train, how do you recruit some of your players. Leo lazima wataje, otherwise wataja unaweza kosa kuwa captain next week.
Okay.
Karibu Nzioka.
So I learned about Woodball.
Yes.
So I joined MKU last year.
Yes.
And during the orientations, we have that period where the team was organized, whereby all team captains for each sport, they come and talk to us, they encourage us, they want us to join their sides. So initially I used to play football, I loved football, but now I saw the competition, the numbers, and I was like, let me try this thing, which I had no idea of it. I had totally no idea of it, since I had even not trained about golf, which we've said they are related.
Yes.
So I went, we gave our names, and there we were shown now the grounds where they train.
Okay.
There we were introduced to, now I met the senior, she's one of the senior players I met there.
Yeah.
She was the captain by then. So they taught us briefly the history of football and some rules of how to play. So I was keen to learn.
Yes.
And then the first week we actually had our first, they have a tournament which they call Taifa Opens. It's an open tournament whereby we invite teams.
Yes.
So there I also watched how they played, since I was just keen on learning. I had not even tried learning. So I saw how they are competing and I just loved it instantly.
And now here you are.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't regret why you joined Woodball.
Yes.
It's an interesting sport. Let me also bring in Ebenezer. Ebenezer, just a short history, of course, how you joined or how you learned about Woodball. Na ni kwa nini, what interested you here? Bado unaweza piga lugha yote hapa, unapiga English, Kiswahili, mix yote, bora si mother tongue sahi. Of course, feel free to share which language is easier for you. Tuambie, tell us, give us until now that you are in the national team.
Okay, so first I joined campus in September 2023.
Yeah. Then
I learned about Woodball when there was it was a freshers meeting. So they introduced Woodball in a way that, it had less people, less attendance from the students. Then I said, maybe I should give it a try because, there's a bit less of a competition there. Only to find that it's a good game. And that's how I came to train on it and learn about it. It's a really interesting game. And
of course, I'll later on, of course, ask also all of you, how you've benefited from Woodball, what Woodball has done to your life, whether in class, whether in the national team, whether at your club level, or whether all that. Of course, we'll also share some of the competition you participated in later on. Dorcas, of course, you've been mentioned by Nzioka that once upon a time you were a senior in Woodball. Share with us that journey in Woodball, especially how before, then during, and of course where you are right now.
First, I joined Woodball in 2021 when I was joining MKU, but the game was being introduced by Kenyatta University and the national team. So when they introduced the game, I was interested. And then I joined the game. And then when I continued playing the game, I loved it, so I continued playing it.
And of course, now here you are, it's benefiting you. Coach of the national team, if you're joining us, we are with, of course, part of the Woodball, the who is who, the coach players here, of course, in studio and TV for 7 Sports Extravaganza, if you're joining us. And that's why they brought us some of the equipment. And they're here to share their story of how the sport is going. Coach, some of your recent competitions, because I can see it was introduced in Kenya in 1990, in the 90s or in the 2000s, whichever years they were all. And how has it gained momentum in terms of, is it just an aerobic sport? Is it just the town sports? How are you making inroads in institutions, whether higher learning or high school or primary? How is it so far? Does it make your work easier in terms of selection now for the national team?
Yeah, Woodball, it was introduced in Kenya in 2006. But the momentum then died again because, mostly if you mention a sport today,
yes,
people will always just say football, rugby, volleyball.
That's it.
Those are many of the major events that they will always mention.
Yes.
But the momentum died at around 2013. Then Mr. Litaba, our Secretary General of Kenya Woodball Federation,
yes,
talked to me and told me, I see potential in you. I want you to come and join us to help us spread this game. But when it started in 2006, started in DStv University and Nairobi University. So when we came back, we picked it with Kenyatta University. Now we introduced to other universities like Cooperative University, Nazarene University. Then it came now to Mount Kenya. But currently, we are in different zones in Kenya where you have, even right now, we've just come out from the first game of the second leg of our national league at GOtv. But also we have another conference playing today.
Yes.
That is the Kusa Central at Kitui campus, Kenyatta University Kitui campus. So it's growing. December, we've had the Eastern Africa University Games at Maseno, and Woodball was part of it. What we always do, every time we have a championship, let's say we have hosted it in USIU, we ensure that we've backed a team at USIU. And like when we went to Maseno, the same. We have gone to we were in multimedia before COVID messed up. So COVID took us some steps behind. But post-COVID, we are now at Masinde Muliro, Rongo University. So every time we go when we go to those schools, we ensure that we start teams. And also when most of our players, like those who are going for TP, the training programs, we ensure that that school they have taught, they are living Woodball at that station. Like this on 5th next week, is it next week on 5th, we'll be introducing Woodball to the Kenya Defence Forces. So it's our prayer that when we do so, we will have a follow-up team going to make a follow-up. We have also tried to introduce to the banks. So we are not just emphasizing on the school-based. For example, when the students who are playing, when they finish their 844, we emphasize them to join clubs. Now we have several clubs. We have Taifa Club, we have Alpha Club, we have Hunters Clubs. So when they go now to start the clubs, we ensure that if you're coming from Kisii, when you go back home, let's also spread the game. We have an agreement with the Kenya Secondary School Sports Association that they told me that moment when you will have at least 3 schools from every zone, now we will have to pick it and adapt it in the high schools. But the easiest way now, after high school, we are trying to teach someone in the university who will be, who next time will be maybe coming to work at TV47. And when they come to work at TV47, they will create a corporate team. That corporate team now, we will also follow up with our high schools back home so that we go beyond the university, so that we can have a national league flowing even when the academic year is not in session.
Ah, nice. Yeah, so already you've actually described, Coach, you may describe clearly, of course, you've already made a lot of inroads in terms of Woodball. Nzioka, let me ask you, captain of MKU team, how many competitions have you taken part in? Of course, there's a league, which is, of course, which competition do you remember most that was very memorable for you, that you enjoyed, and why, and what did you gain from it? I'm speaking like this so that, of course, there's someone out there who might not be able to play football or golf, but Woodball can be accessible and easier for them.
So towards the end of last year, we went for the East Africa Games hosted at Macedo. So we met the Africa champions of football, that is Uganda. So facing them, I can say it wasn't that easy, since they started football earlier than us. Yeah. So there we went. So we have two competitions, which I can say we thought we were going for, like to compete head on with them for the strokes. We have a competition called strokes, and the other one is fairway. So for the strokes, we were to play then have the 12 players who emerged, top 12. You go for the finals. Since we assumed it was easy, we were just going to qualify. We went for the first round, and let me tell you, it was fire. It was heated. So there we went back, now began to strategize and got a few of us going for the final. So during the competition, for someone who want to gain or learn, and for Woodball to make him or build him, you should not be easily distracted or just easily giving up. It requires someone who can face, it's like a war. You won't retreat until the end. So there we emerged to be number 3 for Team MKU. Men, we were number 3, ladies number 2, and in Kenya we won the leading, both men and ladies. So now we are feeling like we are the heroes.
Because I understand, of course, we are in East Africa. We should be the top country in East Africa. About I read those statistics. Of course, Dorcas, later on you will tell us how ladies are taking up the sport and how many are they from the statistics that you have from your institution. But first, wacha niulize Ebenezer. Ebenezer, of course, your most challenging tournament that you took part in. How challenging was it? Why was it challenging? And of course, what lessons did you pick from there?
My most challenging tournament, obviously, is the one that Moses has said, the East Africa Games. I think that is where I realized that there are people who are very focused every stroke. They don't waste any single stroke, no matter what. And I think that is the most challenging that I ever had, because we had a tough competition from the Ugandans. For example, I remember very well playing with them the single strokes. In fact, when there's a gate, Woodball, there's a gate here, and the ball is here. Even if it is, no matter how close it may be, they have to take care of it until it enters inside through the gate. So I think it taught me a big lesson when it comes to being careful, both in the sports and also in life. And I think that has really put a big lesson in me.
Okay, well done, Ebenezer. Dorcas, you know, in Kenya, of course, everywhere you hear a lot of 2/3 gender rule. How are the ladies taking up the sport from your own analysis? And do you think there's need to do much more? And what could be the challenges or the opportunities for ladies?
For the ladies, I think handling the ladies is very tough.
Tell me why is it tough? Just go to the specifics, don't worry. Sema kila kitu.
They really
Fungua roho
love
tu leo,
themselves.
ikutoke.
Wanajipenda. Wanajipenda.
And how does that impact them on the sport? Attack your game.
Sasa akikuja field achomwe na jua apate sunburn. Unamwambia ende
Coach,
gym.
nunua sunscreen. Yeah, and Lucas continue, sorry.
Unamwambia aende gym, haezi enda gym. Haezi amka asubuhi. Like unajua watu tuna train kutoka asubuhi.
Yes.
So for the ladies, it's very tough. Ndio ili maintain, you really need to follow them up. And you have to like, unatafuta tu vitu tu sweet words. Tuwa convince warudi. Kwa sababu, akienda ni hivyo. Uzimpata.
So some of the players that you know that are in your team or that you've interacted with them, you can mention them, what they do, and the kind of work and the efforts they've put in Woodball and in terms of their growth. Watasikia fiti?
Kuna kama Karo. Karo anachomekanga, anajua, alafu anatokea bands flani. Anajipenda, but napenda vile she's consistent because since I joined Woodball, akiwa fresher, hadi sahi, she's still playing Woodball. There's also Vero. I'm mentioning the current team yenye imebaki. The others ni alumni. Wamesha join clubs. Kuna pia Vero. She's also very consistent. Then we have also Rahab. Rahab is our assistant captain. She's also a good girl. I like her. We have the captain, that is Hayden. She's also nice. Lakini pia tunafaa kumrudisha game. Ama ni aje coach? Yeah. Anapenda kutumia simu sana. Pia tuko na Kaelo.
Okay.
She's new, but she's so good because she joined Woodball. Was it last semester? Yeah. And when we went for the East Africa, she outshined.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And those are, of course, some of those. I understand, of course, Coach Lukunta kutuonyesha how this thing works before we go for the break. Sijui walikuwa wamesema watatudemonstrate inachezwa aje. Sasa sijui you can use whatever you want to use here to show us how this works. Please feel free. Mimi nimewapatia ina nini? Sasa demonstration watafanya saa hii ama tufanye baadaye. Of course, this is Woodball. Wangetuonyesha kidogo, but definitely we shall be able to follow up on that. Coach, najua ulikuwa na mambo mingi kusema about where you train, how you train, what time you train. But let's take a very, very short break. Then of course we'll be back with more.
Okay.
Welcome back. This is Sports Extravaganza. My name is Tony Kwalanda, live here on TV47 every Saturday 4 to 7 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. We have the next about 10 minutes or less. We just want to wrap up about Woodball and the things that Nzioka, Beneza na Dorcas wataki kusema, lakini tumeongeza volume yao kidogo. Tumewafinya watoboke, waseme iwatoke, wasipike nyumbani wakasema haya ningesema. But of course I'm here to share. I understand they are some of the top players that we have here in the country in Woodball. Nataka niambie tournaments gani pia wanapanga kucheza or the kind of other events they're looking at. But coach, wacha nianze na wewe hapa. Coach, Woodball, where do you train? What time do you train? How do you select your players? Where do you select them from? Which kind of teams? So at least kama kuna mtu anajiposition, anajua anajiposition hivyo. Because I've heard you've mentioned all those universities, GOtv, DStv, KU, Maseno, USIU. So nataka watu wajue. Because I'm sure you take your talent maybe from high school or from college or something.
Yeah. So trainings for each teams, they train at their home grounds. Okay. But we have a mechanism where that, for example, you can get wase wa MKU sijui nini wasumbua. Wanamkia grao na nigiza inawatoa. You see, so sometimes when we select the team, for me, I always push. When you push the player, they say you are between a rock and a hard place. That's when the beast inside you comes out. So when we're choosing a team, that's what we look at. But we also have an app where one of our players is called Remy Otieno. He has this system of ranking. So when you have the national league, he ranks every player. The Kusa League, they are also ranking their players. So the system is easier. You just check who is the best player. But at the same time, as a national coach, I am ready to lose a game with obedient players. So hata kama wase wameiva na ni magaidi, heri nikachapwe. So we look at very many things. Discipline. Are you consistent in terms of performance? Kuna wale, when I was in KU, we had to put one of the players out of the team because she said yeye ni pro. So it's like you don't come for the trainings. How do you expect to be in the team? Because in July we are having in July we are supposed to go for the Beach World Cup in Thailand. And before that, if all goes well and we get facilitation, we are supposed to go in Taiwan in May for the World Cup qualifiers. But in November, Uganda is hosting the first ever East Africa Woodball Championship in Kampala. So by all this means, we have to be on training throughout, so that we are ready for those activities. My good friend here, like David Ebenezer, this guy has been MVP two consecutive years. Msee anaingia training, anachapa training, and then you get in Taifa Championship, and Taifa Championship is hosted every July, but now we host it the last week of June because we are in readiness for the World Cup. So in July last year and September, where we have now our annual Kenya Woodball Championship, the guy scoops 5 gold medals. Ye kama sitano acha ikae.
Where?
The same goes with
Well done.
Dorcas.
Yes.
She has played with big names in Woodball, the likes of Lilian Zawede in Uganda. Unaona, Lilian Zawede, those are like the Tiger Woods. But now, waligonga huyo mse wa Uganda. And then she comes with how many medals? More than 5. So for us, when you are pushed to the wall, what comes out of you decides whether you will be in the national team. And even if you're my good friend, they say records do not lie. The first thing is the ranking. The second, the discipline, the consistency in both. But trainings are done everywhere. But when we have now for the national team, when we approach, we have now using the selections. Now, after getting facilitations, we go to the camp. So we can go to the camp, let's say 30. Out of the 30, we want 6. So ni bidii ya msee sasa.
Ni bidii mzee. So now you know, of course, kama ulikuwa unapanga kucheza Woodball, si lazima kuwe na muscles kama mimi. Hivyo ndo nimesikia coach akijaribu kusema. But of course nasikia Dorcas alisema lazima uende gym. Na watu wanaogopa kwenda gym. Na wanachomeka na jua. Coach hajasema kwa nini jua inakuanga kwa hii mix yote. Simu trainie, hakuna indoor, but of course kuna fairways. Haiwezi kuwa ndani ya nyumba. So it's a very interesting sport, of course, to challenge you to be part of it. Nzioka, of course, as we wind up, what are some of the lessons you've learned from Woodball? Some of your achievements? And would you encourage wale mastude wengine ama maplayers wengine kutoka other universities to take up the sport? Why? Kwa sababu unajua at the end of the day wanasemanga hii sport itaniekea unga kwa table.
So now my biggest achievements, one, I've gone through to becoming an MKU Woodball team captain.
Yes.
It's not easy.
Yeah, true.
And it comes with effort and proving to them you can offer something. The other thing, for the rest of the teammates, the incomings, the outgoings, it is about how you encourage yourself, how you perceive the game, which will help you to earn something out of it. So for like now, becoming an MPV, si rahisi. Hiyo nao si rahisi. Lazima hapo ungangane, unangangana na the best. So for the teammates and the woodballers, you the challenge, take time to get to know what you want with woodball. It can earn you something maybe now when you get the chances to play for the national team, when you get out there and challenge the gurus wa woodball, like in Taiwan, Malaysia, there they play it from as early as age 12. Hapo coach alikuwa atuambia hapo unamenyana na mtoto lakini atakuumiza as early as age 12. So we now beginning the game at campus level where you are around 20, 19. Unaona ni too late. But pia hiyo mentality tunaweka ndo inaamua how you will approach it and how you roll with it to the end. So for the mates who we play together, my big teams, the team members, wanawaambia tujichallenge and kuwa na target before tuanze training and after jiangalie mahali umefika and how you are doing, kama una improve ama umekwama ama unashusha. So yeah, football can earn you something.
Yep. So it can benefit you one way or the other. Hata mkienda kucheza international tournaments, you just never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You might land yourself a club in Uganda, in Taipei, in Thailand, in China. You just never know who's watching. Ebeneza, some of the challenges umekumbana nazo kwa hii life yako ya woodball ni gani? Some of the challenges, how did you overcome them?
One challenge I can say is, I think the sun.
Jua tu.
Jua peke yake.
Unaogopa jua?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Hata mimi naogopa jua. So facilities in terms of ziko available, support ya serikali iko, clubs na everything is okay.
Yeah.
Kumbe kuna mazuri woodball. Utamaliza kutuambia challenges. Of course coach, najua tunakuja hapo utatuchangamsha hizo stuff. And of course Dorcas, as we wind up, some of the challenges you faced and how you've overcome them. And how does the future of woodball looks like in your institution, and of course nationally, and of course in East Africa and in the world?
The future is bright.
Good.
You know, like in 2023, the government was able to sponsor us to go for the World Beach Championships in Malaysia, and tulikuwa privileged kuenda, and we were so lucky. So that means like the future ya woodball iko sawa. Challenges zenye nimepitia mostly ni jua kwanza.
Vaeni kofia. Ama kocha mruhusu
Kofia isaidi.
Yes.
Kofia isaidi. Kofia ukienda beach si bado utachomeka. Alafu pia unajua jua ina reflect hiyo mchanga ya beach, hata uonangi ball vizuri.
Unachoma vizuri.
Challenge nyingine ni kuumizwa pia. Kama hujaona ball vizuri, unaweza pata injury.
Of course mko na madaktari, all those are taken care of. Unajua kocha anakuanga amepanga mikakati for any eventualities. Of course, so at least there is a future in woodball for ladies.
For ladies, it is. Sasa shida ni wakiolewa.
Wakiolewa nini nafanyika? Hawarudi kucheza tena?
Wanaishia tu.
Coach,
Most of them.
Unatupa watu wakienda kuolewa unatoa kwa timu? Coach, jitetea hapo tukimalizia.
Maybe what she means, it depends with sometimes we lack ile continuation after high school, after university. Someone maybe, you see, depends with where you've gone to work, working schedules. It also depends with who you're dating when you've settled. We've lost several good players. I can call of Charity Mwende. Charity Mwende was those days, ukimwona kwa list, unajua that is a medal. We have Lois, two Loises, Lois Cherotich and Lois Mungai. So the continuation, maybe every day is a learning day. We will have to study and how to capture all of them so that you have that continuation. But by then we didn't have the idea of clubs, but now we have those clubs. But we have very many challenges. Like last year, we had a challenge. The government was ready and had committed to sponsor us to the World Cup in China, but the issue of the visas brought issues. So the two can remind you, we had gone tunamalizia kuingia whatever, and it backfired. Although there are many other challenges, the players, we shield them not to know what the federation is going through. So some we manage them professionally. So we give them smiles, but down we know what you're going through. But the bigger challenge is the facilitation in terms of equipment. For you to get this mallet, you need to fly to Taiwan.
Si muunde za Kenya.
The Kenya, you see, Uganda has managed to get a machine, but it only makes wooden. If this is an aluminium one, it is meant to last longer compared to the one of wooden. So raising money to get that machine from Taiwan or China, it's not a big thing. Okay. It's not an easy thing. And many of us are doing volunteer work in this federation. Yes. So it will be until maybe when a miracle happens, when we get facilitation, then we buy those equipment. Now it will be easier to sell Woodball. So many don't know about the sport because of the expenses of the equipment.
Indeed.
Yes.
That is, of course, Mr. Mboya Titus. Thank you so much, head coach, the national team. We've had, of course, the captain of MKU, Moses Nzioka. David Ebeneza, of course, MVP, na ametulia tu hapa, hataki kutuambia hizi vitu zake hapa hivi, sijui mbona. Of course, we have also the national team player Dorcas Giki. Asanteni sana for making time. And the entire Woodball fraternity, wherever you are, thank you really indeed for doing your sport, doing it, and of course, giving it your best. Keep on doing what you do. Of course, it pays off at one time or the other. Right now, ni kazi mingi, but mtakuwa mnasherekea baadaye. So wale of course wanaenda maternity, pia tafadhali, we need your expertise. Mwende mfamilia, but murudi msaidie coach kunacha talent as well. So thank you so much and keep on doing what you do. This of course is TV 47. This is Sports Extravaganza. My name is Tony Kwalanda. We were of course speaking about the state of Woodball in Kenya. All the institutions, the big institutions in Kenya, the high in education, utapata Woodball. So unajua mahali unaweza kucheza hizo mastori. Now, we're getting now in the thick of things. Of course, I know I've seen my English Premier League bench ya mafans wazito kabisa wamekuja hapa kupiga story. Already nilikuwa na bunch ya Arsenal fans washakuja hapa, but in form of Woodball. But of course, nimeona wa magwiji wamekuja hapa, mboka nasemanga mbogi fulani hapa ya ball imekaa, wametulia, wamekaa hapa supposed to discuss about how the Premier League is so far. That of course in a bit, but first let me take